那个歪牙也拉了 ，camera 一开始眼睛一睁开一跳下来，惨叫，所以就整个改了，没办法，因为他没办法这样跳，所以才改成现在这个方式。
What first attracted me to the story of Nie Yingyang, the assassin, is her name. Because in Chinese, her name is Nie Yingyang, and the words, the characters for Nie Yingyang actually are very interesting. Because the word for Nie, it consists of 3 identical characters for the word year, so it's 3 years. And then Ying means hidden, and then Yang means a woman. So this is a woman who listens, and a hidden woman, in fact, who listens. So in my original conception for the film, I was thinking that this must be a woman, someone who is very attentive, someone who's always listening carefully in on things. And so I conceived of this sequence, this opening sequence, wherein Nie Yingyang, the assassin character, would be hiding at a treetop, just very, very, very closely listening in on what's happening down there, in her surrounding. And once she reaches a certain point, deciding that the moment to strike has come, she would immediately swoops down from the treetop, and then arrives at her target and assassinates the target, and thereby completing her task. So that was the original idea I had. But what I didn't know, what our actress Hou Hsiao-Hsien didn't tell me, was the fact that she actually has fear of heights. She's afraid of heights. And so we tried shooting this sequence, and as we were doing it, we did everything, all the preparation, did everything we're supposed to do. We even had wires set up for her. But as soon as we shot the sequence where she's supposed to swoop down from the top of the tree, she'd just go, ah, she would just scream. And that's what happened. And we couldn't really do that. And that's the reason why we changed the opening to the current opening.
Was there anything that you expanded on from the short story?
小说其实非常短，它的只用了它就是聂隐娘这3个字，而且还是一个杀手啊。然后师父责备他为什么不杀，他就讲给师父听。前面这一段是小说的，后来就是重新编的。
Yeah, so the thing that I preserve is the original opening of the short story. In fact, the source material is a very short story. And at the beginning of the short story, we see an interaction between the nun, the master, and Nie Yingyang, the assassin. And we see there's this interaction going on between them where Nie Yingyang decides not to kill, deciding that she would not be able to complete her task. So there's this conflict, this dilemma already going on. So I preserved the opening, but everything else after that, I pretty much rewrote and created anew.
Now you mentioned Nie Yingyang and hiding, and I'm very curious about that motif of women and hiding in the film, because even though the title refers to one assassin, it seems to me the film actually has at least 2 female warriors who are assassins, 2 assassins. There's the Nie Yingyang character, and then there's the woman with a golden mask. And she's an assassin too. And she's also doing a kind of hiding, right? Her face is hidden behind the mask. And depending on who you think she actually is in the film, she's also hiding in sense of her public role, her social role. Could she be the wife of the governor, who's the wife and the mother of his children? Or could she be the nun, right? I have my own theory. I don't know what you guys, who you think the woman warrior with the golden mask is, but there's a hiding with her character too. So I was wondering if Director Hou could talk about that motif.
We find out in the sequel.
原著它本来就是女刺客啊，就是原来的小说它就是女刺客。那另外一个是我编的啊，就是戴面具那个，戴面具那个，她好像也变成女刺客，对不对？她也是女刺客。她就是等于是从另外一个节度嫁到这边，她嫁给这个田季安之后，婚姻之后，其实所有的政治活动是她在进行，所谓的暗杀活动，比如说埋秋将，这些都是，所以她基本上我是根据原著去延伸的。
Yeah, so I created the female assassin character. Part of it, the reason why I even had female assassin characters is because it's from the original source material, so I'm being faithful to the source material. But in terms of this other assassin, that's basically the governor's wife, Tian Jian's wife, and she's someone who really is actually very powerful, even though she might be in this kind of subservient role, but she actually is the one who has actual political power, and she was sent over. The reason why she was betrothed and was ended up being arranged to be married to Tian Jian, there's political reason for that. There's political motivation. So she was actually in charge or is responsible for many unseemly and hidden deeds that happen behind the scene, and is someone who is actually quite powerful in that respect.
I'm curious about your representation or imagining of the Tang Dynasty, because many Chinese grow up learning that the Tang Dynasty is the golden age of Chinese civilization. And what you offer in The Assassin seems to be a quite cosmopolitan view of that golden age Tang culture. And so I'm very curious, because you have that clearly non-ethnic Chinese wizard character. The music in the film, to contemporary Western ears, sounds like it has a lot of Near Eastern influences. And obviously the credit sequence is bagpipes. And then I also think there's some references in the film to like going to a foreign land, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm just curious about all these elements, in the film. Were they part of the original story, or did you, when you were doing your research, decide to include what you found in your research in the film in that way?
唐朝本来唐朝就是融合了很多西域就是少数民族这种音乐，那时候其实是融合在一起的。唐朝因为能够成功，基本上就是这样，它是从等于是草原的民族后来变成了主宰了中国。所以唐朝它有这个背景，其实是在文化上是跟西域这方面的很多少数民族是融合的，尤其是这个我拍的这个叫魏博，它是安禄山跟史思明，这个讲大家听不懂，是安禄山、史思明他们其实都是等于是北方的，有北方民族的这种混合的，跟汉族混合的，所以非常的强悍，就是安禄山他们，所以整个是那个唐朝是其实就是最在整个中国大陆来讲是各种民族融合的一个最重要的一个朝代，跟汉民族融合最重要的一个朝代，所以 有一部分就是这种所谓的藩镇，所谓这种节度，他们基本上很多，尤其是我现在说的这个魏博，其实是3个最凶的那个节度使。藩镇3个最凶的藩镇，说漏了。3个最凶的藩镇，其实对唐朝政府一直是非常唐朝那时候政府非常微弱，所以基本上整个就是他们在控制。
Yeah, so I just want to emphasize the fact that I think Tang Dynasty is actually a really diverse, ethnically diverse dynasty. I think throughout the entire history of China, it might be the single most diverse and most cosmopolitan dynasty in Chinese history. And what was happening at the time was there was actually a lot of interaction between the central Tang region and on the western frontier, a lot of interaction with minority people groups. So this is also the reason why we incorporate elements from this region, from this area. It's because we want to be faithful and true to what was actually happening at the time. The sort of cultural, this melting pot idea, this cultural interaction that was happening between the Tang Dynasty and the minority group people on the western frontier. And I also want to talk about the fact that there's this whole historical backdrop against which we made this movie, and it would take a very long time to really go into it. But I can just briefly mention the fact that this all happened against the backdrop of the Anlushan rebellion, the Anzi rebellion. We had figures like Anlushan and Shi Siming. These were all people, very, very important people who were part of the Tang Dynasty at the time. And they themselves come from northern China, from the north. So they had their own cultural characteristics, their own ethnic characteristics that they brought to bear on what was happening, what was going on. And we see that in this movie. We're talking about the military garrison or the military province, Weibo. It was actually one of the three harshest, cruelest military garrisons and provinces at the time. So there are all these different sort of interesting cultural, ethnic elements going on, and this is a movie that, in order to be faithful to what was happening at the time, we decided to incorporate all these things together.
Thank you. Because it's so very 复杂的 complex. Very complex about Chinese history. But for film, no. My English is very poor. I'm sorry.
Better than my Chinese. Talking about history, it seems that in The Assassin, you have crafted a film that not only frames the past, as you have done in your previous movies, but also uses the production techniques from the past, such as the old Academy ratio in the black and white prologue, and constructing your sets not on a soundstage, outdoors, and that was the way silent movies were shot. Always shot in sets that were outdoors, in the daylight. So why are you choosing to work using these so-called old production techniques today, now?
我没有想那么多，我没有真的没想那么多。对我来讲，就是为了执行而就是这样做了，很 direct 的做法。
In fact, I didn't really put that much thought into it. For me, it was very intuitive. It was like a direct decision that I made as to why these things were decided upon. 还是要讲这个问题啊。For me is direct， 就是直接的。我是完全感觉这样是对的，就是这样做。所以其实没有想那么多。但是旅设计之前是看了非常多的资料，但是真正拍的时候，真正 setting 拍的时候，我是直接感觉这样对就行了。 Yeah, so it was actually, again, a very intuitive decision. I just felt this was right. And obviously I did a lot of homework and preparation in advance before the production. But once everything was ready to go, everything had been prepared and properly set up, I just went with essentially my gut feeling and did what I felt was right.
而且我搭在空地是主要是real 阳光，真的阳光，然后有风，这都是自然的，这不是在摄影棚里面，因为我要那个自然的状态。因为唐朝的丝织品是最多的时候，就是非常繁华的时候，所以那些纱帐那些都是湿的，所以它风进来，它自然的自然的飘动，而不是用电风扇。光呢是用自然的光在补的，再补一些光而已，基本上是这样，等于是在户外搭的景，直接拍的。
And as for the sets, the reason why I wanted to build the sets, because all the interior scenes you see in the film, the sets were actually built outside. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because I want to utilize natural elements. I wanted to be true to the idea of naturalism. So the wind, for example, you see, this is natural wind that you're seeing, real wind that was happening on the set. It was not generated by any equipment or fans. And also the light too, this is actual sunlight, actual sunshine that was shining on the set. So in terms of the way we use the curtain, these were made from silk, the way they bounce off lights, the way they reflect lights. These were all together. I wanted to use natural elements and heighten these natural elements for what I was doing, and that's really how I went about it.
Well, I'm going to open questions to the floor. I see the first hand over there.
I love the